Good morning, everybody. Charlie here with Red Summit RF. Well, today I am at a summit for Summits on the Air. It's a 10-point summit at the top of Spruce Mountain. And I have with me today the Xiegu X5105. I also have the FT817 here just in case, but as you can see, we've got a picnic table. This was a drive up, but I am still going to go QRP on this one. And we will wrap up a few things that I've been wanting to do. I had the opportunity about 6 months ago to use the Xiegu X6100. Radioddity lent that to me, and I appreciate Radioddity doing that. I had the radio for about a month, operated multiple Summits on the Air and Parks on the Air activations. And then after that, at the very end, I had a video which I produced, which I answered the question, would I buy that radio? And I also offered 5 things that I like about the radio and 5 things that I dislike about that radio. And so for the X6100, you can find that video right up here. After that review, a viewer from the channel suggested that I try reviewing the X5105. He felt like it would be a better fit for me and a radio that I might like. So I asked Jason from Ham Radio 2.0, who I know well, if he would lend me his X5105, and that's what I have here. I've been using the X5105 for quite a few activations now. I've had it for maybe about a month also, maybe a little longer. And I have found some things that I maybe dislike about it and some things that I like about it. So once again, for this radio, the Xiegu X5105, I am going to tell you 5 things that I like about the radio and 5 things that I dislike about the radio, and also answer the question, would I buy this radio if I needed a QRP radio for the field right now? So before that, let me go ahead and get this summit on the air. Let me activate. I'll do sideband and some CW, and then when I wrap it up, I'll tell you how I feel about this radio. Coming up. November Juliet 7 Victor. Is anybody using this frequency? CQ, 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 CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA. November Juliet 7 Victor, calling CQ.
Kilo Romeo 7, Romeo Kilo.
KR7RK, good afternoon, Keith. You're 5959.
Okay, Chris, I'll call you 59. I just passed Cordes Junction on I-17. Good luck.
Okay, thanks, Keith. 73. CQ, 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 CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, November Juliet 7 Victor, QRZ.
Alpha Echo 9 Quebec.
Alpha Echo 9 Quebec. Good afternoon, Dave. You're 59.
Thanks for the 59, Charlie. You are about a 5454 in Oro Valley.
Okay, thanks, Dave. 73.
Whiskey 6 Tango Echo Delta.
Whiskey 6 Tango Echo Delta. Good afternoon, Ted. You're a 59.
USL, I got you 557 here in San Diego. I'll be heading up to Spruce and Mount Union next week, I hope.
Oh, that's great. Well, hopefully I'll give you the chase.
Yeah, terrific. All right, Red. Good luck. Be safe. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, 73. November Juliet 7 Victor, QRZ.
Whiskey 7 Radio Victor.
W7RV. Good afternoon, Tommy. You're a 59.
Okay, Charlie, very good. You're 59 as well. Thanks a lot and have a good time. 73.
All right, 73. November Juliet 7 Victor, QRZ.
Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel India.
Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel India. Good afternoon, Brian. You're a 59.
Good afternoon, Charlie. You're 5757 Phoenix, Arizona.
Thank you, 73.
November 1 Charlie Lima Charlie.
November 1 Charlie Lima Charlie. Good afternoon, Chris. Are you in Arizona or California?
Alright, man, I got you at about a 5151 here in Alpine, Arizona.
Okay, Alpine. Okay, you're a 59, 59, 59. Okay, 73.
73, man.
CQ, 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 CQ Summits on the Air. November, Juliet, 7 Victor, QRZ.
Kilo India 7, Quebec Echo Kilo.
Kilo India 7, Quebec Echo Kilo. Good afternoon, Ryan. You're a 5'9".
All right, copy the 5'9", you're a 5'7", 57 here in Phoenix.
Thank you very much. 73.
All right, 73.
Okay, so that's going to do it for this activation. I was able to make 40 contacts both on sideband and CW with the X5105. I actually made a recording up on the mountain a few days ago with my final thoughts, but then I thought I'd give myself a little bit more time here at home to solidify my thoughts before I actually made my mind up as to what things I like and dislike about the radio. So here I am again in my backyard making my final clip here for the end of the video. I want to go over 5 things that I like about this radio and also 5 things that I dislike about this radio. And I'm just going to hop right in. So at number 1, as to things that I like about this radio, the first on the list is the automatic built-in tuner. I really like having a tuner with me because I like experimenting with various antennas. I also like to take along with me the end-fed half-wave or actually the random wire on occasion, the end-fed half-wave too, but some of the antennas that I use do need a tuner because if I take the, say for example, FT817, there is no tuner with that, so I'd have to take along an external tuner. So with this built-in tuner, I think it's very convenient and very nice. I don't have to hop up and down all the time and switch the links to the radio and whatnot. So top of my list, built-in tuner. Number 2 on my list is the built-in battery. It's always nice to be able to reduce the bulk of your pack, and this battery is a great battery in addition to that, so there's no reason for me to have to carry along an extra battery. If I do, but there's no real reason because this is a great battery. Number 3 of the things I like is that it includes 6 meters. I know a lot of radios do, but it would really come as a disappointment to me if it didn't have 6 meters because I really like operating on 6 meters. I really wish though that it did have 2 meters because I like operating on 2 meter sideband and CW as well. And with this radio, I can't do that. Number 4 is the form factor and the display. This radio is built very rugged and suited for field use. I really like the fact that the speaker and the screen are on top, sort of like the form factor of a KX line, and I like that the screen doesn't have as much glare as maybe the 6100. So it's a great feature to have, is the actual form factor and the way the screen's laid out on this one. And number 5 is the cost. It's a less expensive transceiver at $649 at the time of this recording. And you can compare that to some of its competitors or some of the other line of QRP field radios, and they're all in the right around $1,000 range, some a little less, some a little more. And this one is much more affordable, but of course you got to remember that you get what you pay for. Okay, let's talk about the top 5 things I dislike about this radio. And right off the bat, at number 1 is going to be the built-in keyer that comes with this radio. A lot of radios, if not all, these days have a built-in keyer for Morse code. But I will say that this keyer just doesn't perform properly. I've done a lot of tests, and I just am not comfortable with the way this keyer performs. I think that there's a possibility that an upgrade in the firmware might fix the problem, although I've talked to other people who said that it didn't, and I actually am not able to actually get the firmware. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But it's really a disappointment, and actually might be a deal breaker. You'll have to stay tuned as to whether or not I would buy this radio. So number 1 on the top of my list is the poor performance of the internal keyer. Okay, so here's a look at the issue with the keyer for the X5105. Here it is right here, and I have a bencher into this radio. Also, I have the Xiegu X5105 here, and a key going to that one. So I've got 2 keys here, side by side, and I switched them out back and forth, and I encountered the same problem. Here we go. Okay, for the Xiegu X5105, sending a C. And for the Xiegu. Iambic works though, if I use the iambic. Sometimes it doesn't, even on the X5105 though. See, there it didn't. So there's definitely a problem with the internal keyer of the Xiegu X5105. Here's me calling CQ on the FT897. X5105. So I guess the issue is, for the X5105, it doesn't capture all of the signals that you're sending into the radio into the keyer. So there's definitely a problem with the keyer. Whether it's a widespread problem or just with this radio, I'm not sure, but I suspect it's all the radios. Okay, so number 2 on my list as to things I dislike about this radio is the poor customer service of the manufacturer and the distributors. I really wanted to use this radio in its latest firmware update, but I couldn't obtain it. I sent out an email when I first got this radio to Xiegu, and also to one of their other contracted vendors, to get the firmware, because on their website I couldn't get it. It said it was unavailable. So I sent out an email, I asked for the firmware, and a month later I got an email back that said, hey, we're still working on getting that up on the website, but here's a link to get you started. The link didn't go to anything that was helpful. So to this day, I actually already sent the radio back to Jason at Ham Radio 2.0, which, thank you again, Jason. No new firmware. It's all still the 1 or 2 versions back, and I can't get it. So part of the problem with this review probably will be that I reviewed it on not the latest firmware, but this is a problem with Xiegu and their customer support. So number 2 on my list of things that I don't like about this radio: poor customer service, really not a good deal. Number 3 on my list as to things that I dislike about this radio is the internal battery charge time. I said that I like the battery, the internal battery. I said that it's a good battery. The one downside, that's number 3 on my list, it takes forever to charge. I put this, it was 100% depleted, well, almost 100% depleted when I received this radio from Jason. I put it on the charger, 7 p.m. The night before I was going to go out. 7 a.m. the next morning, I went to go do a Summits on the Air activation. It still wasn't fully charged. That's 12 hours. That's just too long. Number 4 on my list as the things I dislike about this radio is the feedback that I get from the audio output jack. With the earbuds in, I usually am okay, but on occasion, especially when using like the random wire antenna, I'll get feedback into the earbuds, and I can't really hear. Not to mention that the audio coming into the earbuds is really not the greatest. It's a little, I don't know, it's just not the greatest. And I talked to Thomas Witherspoon about it. He also has that same issue. So third on my list is the feedback and just the poor audio quality coming out of the output jack for the audio. And wrapping it up at number 5 is pretty common in all of the Xiegu line of radios, and it's the front end overload. With the X5105, it was no different. I experienced some front end overload. Can't say for sure whether this is true or not, but Brian said that using this radio when I was on a summit with him and we were operating together, he says that he felt like there was some spurious emissions or just some poor audio output, because he said he experienced the worst interference on his radio that he had ever experienced on both the activations versus other radios that I've used in the past. We have no scientific evidence for that or real testing that we've done, but at the very least, it does have front-end overload, and it's just a problem. So that brings us to the question at hand. Would I buy this transceiver if I didn't have a QRP transceiver already? And the answer to that is really no. It's a great radio, don't get me wrong. I like a lot of things about it. If I was just a sideband guy, the answer would be yes, because it's a great sideband transceiver. But when it comes to Morse code, that internal built-in keyer, it just does not function properly. I can't operate well with it, and I would just be unhappy with this radio from the get-go, not being able to operate Morse code the way I like to do it. Secondly, that customer service is also a deal breaker. I was not able to, the whole time I had the radio, I was not able to obtain from the vendor or from one of their contractors a file to upgrade to the latest firmware. All right, that wraps it up, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget, I will be doing more reviews of different types of gear for portable radio. And also, don't forget that I do have a show that, first and third Sunday of every month, where I interview guests who are portable radio operators or QRP operators, and we get to find out more about what they like and what their interests are. So come back and join me again on the next episode with more of reviewing gear and of going out and doing summits on the air and parks on the air. Thanks for your support, and I'll say 73 to you. Bye-bye.